A no-good, very wet day. 30 minutes after you discover the cafe half-sunken, the rest of your friends have all arrived to help with the disaster. We've got the water main and electricity off, so the flooding shouldn't get any worse, but it's already a mess. Yeah, we noticed. It's like the Titanic in here, except without any hot people. Wow. Thanks, Blue. Max emerges from the kitchen, phone to one ear. Hey, can we make sure the front door is locked? And can someone put the sign up? Are you closing for today? At least for today, maybe the whole week, depending on when the electrician can get here. There's a thud near the counter, and you turn to see a small stack of prepackaged muffins fall into a large puddle. And there goes my lunch. Rest in peace, my homemade muffins. You deserved better. Repairs alone are gonna eat up like half of our fundraising money. Plus, we're not exactly selling coffee while we're closed. And there's the bad vibe tax. Yeah. This is pretty bad. We're already in the red and repairs are never cheap. I should have seen this coming. Nothing good ever happens when Mercury is in retrograde. Hey, no one could have seen this coming, no matter what the planets are up to. And panicking isn't going to clean up any of the mess. Just pick a mop or a bucket and start somewhere. You try to focus on moving furniture with Joe, getting as much of it out of the water as you can. At least Alan's table made it through. Look, the water didn't even reach it. Maybe that's a good sign, right, Mateo? Depends. What phase is the moon tonight? Mateo's astrological insights are interrupted by a knock on the front door. Must be a customer who decided not to read the sign. You go to point out the closed sign that Joan put up a few minutes ago, only to see a familiar face smiling outside. You unlock the door quickly. Brad, hi, you're here early? I was up. Figured I'd come hang out at the cafe before our date, which I'm excited for if that wasn't obvious. Plus, Elvis gets antsy if he goes too long without chasing a bird, so win-win. But it looks pretty biblical in there right now. Right, we were gonna date today. I'm really sorry. I should have texted you, but I have to take a rain check. The water main burst. It's been total chaos, sort of an all-hands-on-deck situation until things are fixed. Maybe, I could see you tomorrow, or I could stay in hell. I'm already here, my schedule's wide open. Are you sure? Because we could be here for a while. Will there be snacks? Do you like puddle muffins? I don't even need to say it. Which are exactly what it sounds like, muffins that fell into a puddle. I'm not a fan, but I know a fluffy garbage disposal who might be. Listen, bottom line, I just want to hang out with you, okay? Even if it's underwater. Plus, Elvis is good at boosting morale. God, this man really is something. For the first time since you walked in the cafe door this morning, you feel your heart lift. Okay then, you two. Welcome to Operation Cafe Cleanup. You lead him into the cafe where, to your dismay, Blue greets you with a grin and an extra mop for Brad. Long time no see, Brad. Oh God, Blue, be nice. I'm always nice. I mean nice to me. Oh, well, that's a tougher ask. Just then, you hear the door handle jingle again, and you're about to go see who it is when... I got it, everyone back away, I got it. Moving lightning fast, she does some surprisingly impressive jumps over the water between her and the door, then flings it open. Outside, Joe's crush, Tess, is holding a box of pastries. Hi, hey, come on in, just watch where you step, it's wet. Thank God you warned me. Why does she look different all of a sudden? Listen, no, stop, full stop. In the prior playthroughs, if I'm not mistaken, Brad looks like Brad, and Tess looks like Tess. The only problem was Joe didn't look like Joe from our female version. Now Tess doesn't look like Tess. I'm getting livid with the damn developers. Yes, long time no see. Why are you changing shit? With Blue distracted, you motion to Brad. The two of you head to the far side of the cafe where there are still some deep puddles left to mop. Brad moves his mop around the floor with surprising degree of finesse. Damn, I feel like I'm hanging out with Mr. Clean. This is all instinct. Back in college, I lived with some disaster roommates in a disaster house. We're talking hoarder level messy. Was it a frat house? Worse, just 5 gross dudes living in a squirrel for no reason. Ugh. You move to a table more close for him to mop, and as you watch him work, you can still feel giddy at the memory of his hands clutching your waist. That sounds like a, classic college experience. If that's true, the news is right. There's no hope for our generation. There really isn't. Hey, my college apartment was 6 people living in a 2-bed, so... Where do you guys even sleep? The floor. Trust me, you don't even want to know. Good news is that I snapped out of my slob phase first. I managed to get my roommates on board with some being semi-tidy. It was a growing experience, and having Elvis has kept my mop skill sharp ever since. He's messy enough for both of us. You laugh, caught up in how surreal it is to hang out with Brad at the cafe in the wake of the kiss, because it was definitely a capital letter-worthy kiss. This isn't exactly how I imagine our next get-together would be, but as long as he's here, I'm gonna make the most of it. So is college, when you figured out you wanted to be an architect? When I committed to it, yeah. I could never resist a building challenge, even as a kid. The messier, the better. Yeah, I bet your parents love that. My mom is a sculptor, so she couldn't exactly judge me for causing chaos in the spirit of construction. I think growing up with her designs influenced me to become an architect, actually. That and Legos. The first time I built a Lego Millennium Falcon, I knew there was no going back. You think that's architecture? Bro! You should see the Super Star Destroyer, and also the town of Stardew Valley, and I could go on for days. From the Millennium Falcon to apartment complexes. Kind of a downgrade, huh? You have no idea. As it turns out, building codes aren't as open to experimentation as a box of mismatched Lego sets. There's an expressiveness that comes with building, and that hasn't changed. I still feel like a little kid when I sketch out a design. Brad moves a chair out of the path of your cleaning, and you watch him quickly wipe it down before setting it aside. So... what's the most fun design you've ever done so far? I did get to remodel this middle school once. To say the previous version looked like prison is generous. Yikes. Yeah, it's probably a place I went to school. It was fun. My thoughts exactly. But my firm was able to bring in a lot of color, bring life at the end of it, put some fun into function. I think an ideal space should reflect what's going on inside. If you want people to have fun, they can't do it inside a cinder block. Does that hold true for apartments too? Like, should a person's apartment be a reflection of life they live in it? Please say no, please say no. Because depending on how stressed I've been, I'm not sure my place would pass the test. I'll have to come see it sometime then. Give it my professional assessment. I was hoping you would say no. A day later. Listen. I'm not one for, like, materialistic shit, so my shit is very bland. Anyway, a day ago, you would have agonized over what that meant. But after last night, you let yourself drink it in. The fact that he wants to come by your place, and not just as a friend. I'd like that. Just let me tidy up first. Brad sets one of the mops aside, glances towards the kitchen. Do you mind if I check in with Max? I wanted to ask her what electrician she's using. Some of the ones in the area love to nickel and dime. Good idea. We have no nickels or dimes to spare. The moment Brad heads into the kitchen to find Max, your other friends corner you. Okay, Dex, did you forget to tell us something? I don't know what you're talking about. The vibes with Hot Dog Dad have shifted. That's what. Did something happen last night? Well, that's between me and Brad. Blue rolls their eyes, and the rest of your friends follow suit. Even Yaz. It's coming from the man who made us sit through slideshows of his ex's most heinous crimes. Oh my god, I remember that justice for the one guy who breathed too loudly. He did, you never had to sleep next to him. Well, something clearly happened with Brad. I'll just have to ask him about it later. Before you can figure out how to silence Blue, Brad returns from the kitchen with Max, the two of them looking extremely buddy-buddy. Good news, Brad here recommended a solid electrician, and she's going to come by in a bit to assess the damage to our wiring. You smile at Brad, feeling embarrassingly warm and fuzzy at the thought of him impressing the unflappable Max. In the interest of keeping things dry before she gets here, maybe we leave the rest of the furniture as it is for now. Copy that. Well then, while I have you all gathered here, not what happened. Most of the food in the kitchen is going to go bad pretty fast with the power still out. I was going to donate the perishables to the soup kitchen like we do with the leftovers, but since we're putting in the hours of manual labor, you mopped like maybe 30 minutes. And spent 10 of them making TikToks too. It's the hard knock life. As I was saying, we might as well take a break and eat one good meal while it's mold-free. Anyone want to help me cook something? How long has the power been out? The food should still be fine, as long as you keep the fridge closed. We're in, but only if you actually let us help, Mateo. No micromanaging. Oh, I make no promises. Now follow me into my domain. Energized by the prospect of lunch, you and your friends crowd into the kitchen. It's tight quarters and you find yourself side by side with Brad, close enough to feel his body heat. Hi there. Do not let Blue notice. Do not let Blue notice. As though the thought summoned them, Blue glances over the two of you and coos. Oh, look at you two, getting all cozy. There wasn't a lot of room to... From somewhere near the sink, Mateo claps his hands. Okay, we're doing ham sandwiches and vegetable soup, heat, source TBD, since the gas lines are shot. Everyone get an assembly line, pronto? Yes, chef. Oh, just for that, Dex, you get to help prep the vegetables. Brad can assist. Cool. That has nothing to do with the fact that the heat source plus Dex equals combustion, right? Well, you can never be too careful. Less cool. Everyone breaks off following Mateo's instructions. Brad grabs a cutting board and hefty-looking cleaver. Whoa there. Are you about to go on a crime spree? Hey, you can't chop with a dull blade or you'll lose flavor. Cooking is all about precision. Don't chefs improvise like in Ratatouille? Dex, I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. Because he's just a chef in a cafe. Anyway, not in my kitchen. I measure knife cuts twice, and condiments are proportioned to sandwiches for the ideal condiment to food ratio. Okay, Gordon Ramsay, what do you do if you mess up this golden ratio? Oh, cleanup's easy. Elvis doesn't care about portions if it's, if I'm giving him turkey slices. But most of the time I get the proportions right. He grabs an onion and begins chopping it carefully to demonstrate, moving his hands with studied ease. That's... incredibly even-handed. I feel like I'm watching a tutorial on the Food Network. Brad laughs and the sound warms you from the inside out. I wonder how many of you watching currently know how to actually cut something properly. Leave a comment in the comment section below letting me know if you actually do. This is all instinct, too. I worked as a summer camp counselor in high school, and we were supposed to teach kids the basics of cooking, which should be fundamental in every single school in America, let alone the world. But hey, guess what? Critical... No, shut up, Blocum. You're trying to... No, shh. I had to get very familiar with proper knife form or risk chopping off limbs and parental wrath. You handle the next batch of chopping as Brad scoops the diced vegetables into a bowl until Yaz waves to get your attention. Dex, is white bread fine with you? Sure, what's all that? Yaz has an array of various condiments in front of her, which she spread on bread slices with the same kind of surgical precision as Brad. Apple, carrot, chutney, mayo, mustard, that all sound good? That all sounds great. I have a more important question for the committee. Is a sandwich a burrito or vice versa? I will end your life. Blue, are you trying to start a fight? I'm just making conversation. No, you're trying to be put to death. That feels debatable, given how much they've grinning as they're beginning to layer more ingredients on Diaz's bread slices, but Alan immediately takes the bait. Does anyone know what the legal definition of a sandwich is? Mateo, did they cover that in law school? In one semester I went to, no, we didn't make it into sandwich law. I mean, if we define a sandwich as ingredients held together by some kind of bread. Mateo holds up his hands, looking wounded. No, stop. That's an insult to burritos everywhere. Thank you. I think burritos are sandwiches and are separate entities. Yes, thank you. Oh, boo, that's such a cop-out. I knew you were trying to start a fight. I'm trying to start a spirited discussion, and you're being incredibly unspirited. No, I'm using common logical sense. As you and Brad finish chopping vegetables, Mateo nods in approval of Brad's handiwork. Well, Dex, I can tell that you did almost none of this. I did some of it. But since your hands are free, you can help set up the camping stove. Max brought it down for the soup. The two of you get working together to get a small one-burner stove set up. I think that goes there, and then the moment of truth. Please explode. You turn it on. What? It's an easy way to just get out of this misery. You turn it on and rewarded by a small flame. You did it. Dex made fire, everyone, an intentional one this time. I am going to pretend you just said, thank you, Dex, for the effort in these trying circumstances. Once the heat is on, you grab a pot and beckon Brad over to dump the vegetables in. You do the honors. Yes, Chef. Hey, hold up! That's not a pet name. It's an earned title. Well, what if I've earned it? Don't even start. Brad tips the cutting board in the pot, and when he finishes, there's a couple of carrots still stuck to the wood. He goes to brush them off and flicks one onto your face, grinning. Hey, I'll retaliate. Smiling, you run your finger along a bit of spilled chutney on the counter, and then... Look, over there! Brad foolishly turns his head to where you're pointing, and you take the opportunity to brush the chutney on his nose. When she wrinkles, and something you definitely don't find hopelessly endearing. Okay, ooh, it's in my nostrils. I call a truce. You started it, but truce accepted. Okay, cooking privileges are revoked from both of you. Mateo, if you ever had a kitchen staff, I don't think you can operate in a system of granted and revoked privileges. Gordon Ramsay does it all the time. Get out of my effing kitchen! Go! Watch me. Eventually, the soup starts to bubble, and a seriously amazing aroma fills the kitchen. Okay, this is looking more or less done. Everyone grab some bowls and plates, and we eat on the patio. As you all gather around the patio tables, rejuvenated by the sunshine, said no one ever, It depends on how hot it is, okay, let's be honest. Lack of visible water damage, and most importantly, the sandwiches and soup. Oh, this is good. Looks like vomit soup. And from here on out, things don't feel as dire. Yeah, maybe I'm just borderline starving, but this is the best lunch I've ever had. Stop, you're embarrassing me. Mateo beams, looking 0% embarrassed from his seat beside you. Brad leans over to whisper in your ear. It's the best lunch I've ever had, too. Oh, yeah? Is that, thanks to my cooking skills or because of me? Because of me. Someone's feeling confident. Oh, I mean, I was sort of a joke. Hey, I'm just kidding. It's definitely because of you. Oh, okay. Your heart thuds unevenly. It's called a heart attack. And even though Blue is watching both of you, unabashed in delight, you can't do anything except smile back at Brad. Once everyone's plates are cleared, morale is visibly higher and you're ready to get back to repairs. The next hour is a whirlwind of cleaning. Max has you and Brad carry some unsalvageable boxes to the dumpster behind the cafe. Rest in peace, my favorite ordering notepad and a bunch of old menus. Can you help me lift the box in lift on 1, 2, 3? Wobble, struggle, lift. You heave with all of your might, not wanting to let him down, and you're rewarded as the box tips into the dumpster. Nice work. Easy. You catch your breath, and if you sneak a peek at the flex of his muscles as he slams the lid closed, well, that's your business. You do more mopping inside with Brad by your side the whole time. I mean, he is your boyfriend after all. Here, he missed his spot. With his help, you make short work of the remaining puddles. And out on the patio, you lay some of the hopefully still salvageable items out to dry. The tablecloths don't look too bad, but the curtains will be air drying forever at this rate. This might be a harebrained idea, but do you think anyone has a blow dryer? A few minutes later, Brad has Max's blow dryer hooked up to a neighboring building's outlet, and the two of you take turns using it on tablecloths and curtains. I feel like we're running a dry cleaning company. Hey, maybe that should be your future business venture. He grins, and you share a brief laugh. Maybe, but hey, I wanted to thank you for helping today. I know this wasn't exactly the afternoon we'd planned. Maybe not, but I'm having fun anyway. Just bummed that the LG is dealing with this on top of everything else. How are you feeling? I'm feeling a bit, kinda numb. I don't know if I should feel much of anything, to be honest. Everything has just been non-stop. He reaches out to give your shoulder a brief squeeze, and even that small touch makes you feel lighter. That makes sense. During really tough projects, I tend to save my frustration for the gym and take it out on the punching bag. Better than the client. Your train of thought is interrupted by a loud meowing from somewhere near the back wall. You just didn't make a cat noise for no reason, did you? Certified dog guy, remember? That definitely wasn't me. You scan the patio and spot a stray cat emerging from a gap in the fence. He cautiously slinks between the tables. Hello, Mr. Fluffykins. When the cat gets closer, you can see that he's an adorable, slightly chubby gray tabby. Well, hello there. What a handsome little guy. The tabby pats even closer on the paws that are surprisingly big for his chunky body. Chattering loudly, he tilts his head to peer up at both of you. He butts his head against your leg and you reach down to pet him. He instantly purrs. Aww, what have you been doing out here? He blinks up at you, then spins to pounce on a piece of lettuce besides the table, presumably an escapee from some customer's salad. And Brad watch with a mix of confusion and delight as he chomps on a piece of lettuce. I could be wrong, but aren't cats obligate carnivores? Yeah, there's a reason why you're a dog guy. Shh, don't tell him. He's having fun. He finishes chewing on the lettuce and peers up at both of you, blinking happily. That's how you know someone's never had a cat in their entire life nor observed one. No, they eat grass as well as other vegetation. They also eat catnip, which is literally and figuratively, what? A greenery? Yes. Anyway, you pat around the cat's neck, checking for a collar, and frown when you come up empty-handed. He's probably been on his own for a bit. I wonder if he's been hanging around the cafe for food waste. Poor guy. I take it you're not in the market for a cat. I think I'd crumble under the pressure of pet ownership. But Max has been joking about getting a mascot for the cafe, and maybe he could live here. Your customers would go nuts over him. Having him around might be nice for you. Something to bond over, right? Uh-huh. Would you like that, bud? Staying with all of us at the cafe? The cat butts his head against your leg. Sounds like a yes to me. Brad helps distract the cat long enough for you to pick him up, though based on how loudly he's purring, the distraction wasn't necessary. Looks like someone missed the memo on stranger danger. Or he just likes us. You carry the cat into the cafe where Alan is the first to spot you. He rushes over immediately. Oh, who's this? Dex, are you smuggling contraband? No, just catraband. Even the jokes are the same. I'm serious. Oof, that was a stretch. But Brad still grins as you set the cat down. The cat circles around the remaining damp patches on the floor, stopping by everyone's feet to collect tribute in forms of pets. I found him out back, no collar or anything. I think that means you get to name him. Does it though? I'm naming him after my stray cat outside that I've taken care of for 10 years. He's literally the same color and he's a big, fluff ball. Wuzzy. Strong name. Good choice. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. But I need to think of a song for the cat. Anyway, I think he likes it too. So what are we doing with him? Well, I thought he could maybe live here. Who's living here? Max emerges from the kitchen with a few more boxes in hand. It doesn't take long for her to spot the gray fluff ball bouncing around the cafe. You watch as her lips purse, though whether it's an amusement or annoyance, you couldn't say. This is Wuzzy. Brad and I found him out on the patio. And you brought him inside because of... because he was starving and miserable. No, he's chunky. He's not starving. He's the most precious thing I've ever seen. He had me do it. Max eyes Wuzzy skeptically as he stretches out on a nearby table, showing off his gray spots like a polka dots on his cream-colored belly. Even though he has no cream-colored belly or polka dots, I'll never understand. Oh yes, look at those powers of persuasion. Seriously, where's the cream-colored belly? Where's the spots? You're not doing yourself any favors here, buddy. Max sighs, but she still can't help smiling. Fine, he can stay. He can come upstairs with me after hours. Leanne's been begging me to adopt a cat for ages. Oh, you hear that, Wuzzy? Max isn't sending you back to a life of street crime. Max shakes her head, chuckling. Meanwhile, Mateo leaps from his seat and sprints into the kitchen, returning with canned tuna. We've got to welcome the newest staff member with a good meal. You're in luck, Wuzzy. This is top shelf stuff. Is it Star-Kissed or Chicken in the Sea? Here, Dex, you want to do the honors? I can't be smelling like tuna. I have an image to uphold. Wuzzy circles Mateo's legs until he hands a tuna can to you. Wuzzy eagerly follows the can's every movement, his tail swishing with excitement. But it's okay if I smell like tuna. You said it, not me. What am I going to be bathing in the shit? Seriously. You feed the tuna to a very eager Wuzzy, and he, when he's finished, he wanders over to Brad and curls around his leg. Hey there, do you smell my dog? He scratches Wuzzy's neck, and Wuzzy purrs contentedly. I think, he just likes you. What gives you that idea? Wuzzy flops on his belly, pawing at Brad's shoes. Wild guess. I gotta say, it's pretty wild seeing you cozy up to the enemy. Hey, I've always had a soft spot for cats. It's not their fault. They aren't dogs. Where is Elvis, anyway? If I had to guess, sniffing around in the kitchen. Speak of the devil. Sure enough, Elvis emerges from the kitchen. A food safety violation, but who's checking? And bounds into the cafe nose first. Someone smells an intruder. Elvis's detective skills lead him straight to Wuzzy, and the two of them stare at each other for a minute, and then... Okay, this isn't how we make friends, Elvis. Give him space, buddy. Just try to relax. He quickly clips Elvis's leash on, leaving Wuzzy to circle and sniff him, which Elvis eventually allows. They look at each other for a beat longer, and Elvis's tail has just begun to wag when Wuzzy wanders away. Well, that went better than expected. But Elvis will have to do some serious groveling if he wants Wuzzy to acknowledge his presence regularly. My boy is a born diplomat. Just give him time to win his friend over. What do you think, Wuzzy? Acceptable new home? He answers by hopping onto the table beside you, sprawling out. He looks up at you, blinking with trust and affection. as his paws make biscuits in the air. Scratch his head. You scratch behind his ears and his eyes immediately close as he leans in your hand, purring. Ah, you like head rubs, huh? He answers by batting at your hands and smooching his face against it again. Okay, buddy, I'll give you more later once we get your new home all cleaned up. Your friends and Brad gather around the table, smiling at the cafe's new cat/mascot, and Brad gives you a gentle nudge. I'm really glad you spotted him. Same. I think he is too. By late afternoon, the cafe looks honestly not bad. There's plenty to replace and repair, but the floor is dirty and the most waterlogged furniture is gone. Everyone's working on cleaning what's left. Okay, am I crazy or did we manage to make a huge dent in the amount of progress? It looks almost halfway normal in here. Ish. Teamwork makes the dream work. Wazzy burbles approvingly from his perch near one of the counters. Then do you think you could all keep up this teamwork without me? I've been thinking about what fundraising concert for the cafe would look like, and I scheduled a meeting with this musician I know. We were supposed to talk about it over drinks in an hour, and I hate to abandon you all. Max, you can't miss that meeting. Don't get me wrong, I definitely want to know who it's with, but I'm willing to live in suspense if you get going. Yeah, we all need to help in the way we can, right? So if you've got a lead on more fundraising, we have to take it. Alright, I'll go. But thank you for everything. Everybody pitching in today means, well, it means more than I can say. Yes, mister, you too. Thanks for all the moral support. She gives Wazzy a pat before heading out, and you survey the space around you. Alright, well, what else is on the reopening the cafe to-do list? Me, Blue, and Alan will be heading to the flea market downtown to replace some chairs and tables, etc. Alan, do not let Mateo talk you into furniture if it looks like it could go viral on TikTok. Don't forget that time he brought back the disco ball table, or the pearl-shaped stool. I thought it was artistic. The internet made it a butt thing. What? Sure, buddy. While your friends bicker affectionately, Yaz beckons you and Brad over to the counter. Brad, I assume you can recognize an auxiliary breaker. You assume correctly. Thank God, decks fell for someone smart. You start to sputter a reply, defense, but Brad only smiles a little as Yaz goes on. Would you guys mind heading into the back room and seeing if you can reset ours? The electrician finished working on a few of the circuits, so we should be able to get it running and turn on the last of the lights back on. Roger that. I could show him the way. Wazzy nudges your ankles as you go. You scratch him behind his ears, smiling down at him. Don't worry, bud. We'll be back soon. I hope. I hope that was Cat for good luck. Brad grabs a toolbox, and when you get into the back room, you let out a long whistle at all the boxes stacked around the water heater and electrical equipment. No wonder we don't put stuff back here anymore. Like one more box would send everything tumbling down. The circuit breaker should be on the wall, if we can get to the wall. It takes a few minutes, but eventually you locate the breaker, half hidden behind some old signage. I don't think we use the thing the whole time I've worked here. Do I flip all the switches on the panel, or... Here, back away before you start an electrical fire. Brad gently elbows his way in front of the panel. Squinting at it, he jingles one switch back and forth. Huh, looks like this set may be a dud. We'll have to open the panel to see if it's a wiring problem. He uses one of the tools to remove the cover of the panel, his hands moving confidently, brow furrowing as he works. You find it wildly endearing, with one of your friends around to tease you. There's no reason not to admit it. You know, you're cute when you're fixing stuff. You know, I'm about to be really livid right now, and I'm holding my tongue on what just happened with the electrical box, and how right now Brad should have pretty much, like, life-ending voltage traveling through him. because he didn't shut off the box, which means shut off the electricity, before going and digging around in a panel. Even though it's a dud, you can tell someone at Pixelberry has never even thought of electrical currents. You lose like 9 out of 10 points right now for this. You look like Bob the Builder. Brad lets out a warm laugh and you grin reflexively at the sound. You might be the weirdest come on I've ever had. And the most memorable, right? He glances over his shoulder at you, his amusement fading to something softer and fonder. Oh yeah, it'll keep me up at night. Oh, your whole body feels suddenly flushed as Brad turns back to the panel. Moments later, he pumps his fist in the air triumphantly. Aha, I think I found the culprit. If I remove these wires and fiddle with their positioning, while also not turning off the electricity... How many points should I deduct from this one? You've only got one left. He uses a pair of pliers to pull out a scary-looking red wire before reattaching it to an auxiliary breaker set. Oh, God. It's like they're making shit up as we go. Then we'll use the multimeter to check the voltage to make sure we have a live wire. Oh, my God. Can you try that again and pretend the most I know about electricity is how to pay my electric bill? He pulls out a contraption that looks like a walkie-talkie, but with 2 cords attached. They went to Amazon to figure this one out. And and hands you before connecting the cords to the panel. I'm going to attach these probes to the wire I just messed with. When I flip the breakers on, when did you turn them off? Can you let me know if the voltage looks okay in the multimeter? Looks okay meaning 120 volts or higher. If it looks low, or if the number is a fraction, that means we did something wrong. He leans over to flip the breakers, and you eye the multimeter, which begins to climb before landing on a reading of 126. Looks like the wire is live. You say wire isn't live if you want Brad to still die. Oh, Jesus Christ. He smiles, detaching the multimeter. Nice. You're basically an electrician now. No, you're not. Be sure to tell Yaz that. She'll be horrified. Brad flips the final auxiliary breaker on and replaces the front of the panel, grinning when it lights up. Looks like we're officially back in business. You hear distinct whoops and cheers from upstairs, a sign that your friends have noticed all power is back on. I can't believe we did all this in just one day. The repairs are going to cut into our budget, but we're going to be able to reopen tomorrow, and we did it. Yeah, we did. He takes a step closer to you, an already cramped basement, lips curving to a smile. You know, optimism looks good on you. You realize his breath is coming a little faster than usual. Not that you're faring any better with him mere inches away from you. Yeah? You look like a guy who looks on the bright side. I like you. Wow, that was quick. Brad slowly leans in and you follow suit. The moment feels like it stretches out forever, but by the time your lips meet, you wish it could have lasted even longer. Brad, you kiss him for the second time. Both of you sweaty and a little dusty from the day's labors, and if anything, your second kiss is even better than the first. Your heart is racing as his hands grip your waist to pull you closer, and there's no one down here but the two of you. It's so tempting to keep kissing him for these few stolen moments. This turns into a diamond choice. But I'm sorry, kids, we're not. You linger on the kiss for a moment longer, then reluctantly pull back with a sigh. I hate that my brain is telling me that, but we should check if the others need more help, and if not, maybe we can clean up a little. You cast your eyes over Rad's clothes and over your own, which are damp with floodwater and covered in bits of cleaning debris. We're kind of a mess. I happen to like how mess looks on you, but fair enough. He winks and your pulse kicks up a few more notches. I just wish we could have gone on whatever date you had planned today. This might shock you, but I think I would have preferred it doing physical labor at my workplace. Well, the day isn't over yet. I had to shift some things around, pull some strings, but I'd love to take you out tonight if you haven't made other plans. You look at him, covered in sweat from the day of helping your friends and still breathless at the idea of a date with you. The idea of saying no is just so unfathomable that you can't help laughing. Brad, I guess I could clear my schedule. Maybe I can squeeze you in between my shower and my nightly doom scroll. Oh, it's some tough competition. But just so I'm clear, that means yes, right? You pull him in for another kiss. Yes. Alright, so before I say what I gotta say, remember to like, share, and subscribe. You know what else to do. Other than that, yeah, no, listen. Listen. Oh, the reason why I'm tilted is because that is a very amateur mistake electricians do. Yes, even electricians make mistakes. The thing you're supposed to do is you're supposed to shut off the whole breaker box, right? Don't risk it, right? You may sit there and go, well, there's no power going to the da-da-da-da-da. Don't do it, okay? It's if you ever have to replace a fuse or test a panel or whatnot, you literally and figuratively turn off the whole breaker box. I know, it might inconvenience you for a minute. Also, the fact that we went down there and we didn't even use a flashlight, because if you noticed, as they said in the story, that the electrician got everything else on except for the one thing. So everything was else already on. No one said, hey, the electrician left everything off. Like, the electrician didn't finish his job. It's just poor, shoddy writing to go with the poor electricity work. Literally and figuratively, I've personally never lost a friend from electricity or know someone personally because most people turn the shit off. But there is a few amateur mistakes, and this goes out to the guys, girls, and or ladies, and everyone in between. Just don't do it. Just don't risk it. Multimeters are something that electricians typically carry. Most people aren't going to have in their toolbox. It's something that once in a, I would say, I mean, I've been on this planet long enough that pretty much if I was to live double my life right now, yeah, no, to say even in the years that I have lived that I've never used a multimeter, because typically you don't need to. That's something that it just alludes to, like, it's about as bad as the writing for the electricity scene, right? It's just a tool that is for pretty much when an electrician runs a new wire or wants to test a pre-existing one, that they've typically replaced the fuse, they've replaced other things, they know that a current live current is going through the junction box or whatever box you want to call it, but like the box is live. But for whatever reason, that wire is not getting electricity through. So they want to make sure that and test the wire that it is alive or not. And yes, that part was correct for the multimeter, but it's just a tool that you aren't going to have in your average toolbox. I can understand if it was something that the electrician left behind, but it's also something that an electrician is also not going to leave behind and let you do the workout. Don't do it yourself. Hire a professional electrician, or at least someone who actually knows what the hell they're doing, i.e. someone like me. Like, I always stress this, try and keep learning, right? Because I know, and I apologize, right? But then I don't. I apologize if I kind of, like, ruin things sometimes for you guys. But like, oh my god, I wouldn't have known that. Locum, shut up. Listen, I'm educating, okay? I'm also pointing out the bad writing. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people like my channel. Is I sit here and I'll do the voices, right? And unfortunately, like, there's not a lot of voices I can do. I have fun with, like, second-rate characters or people that we just don't give a shit for, right? Like the sheriffs, right? I'll give them that, hey, how you doing, boy? I'll tell you one thing. Or, like, the old white ladies, you know, I'll give her the, oh, yes, I believe. And then, you know, like Max, I had to change it up a little. I didn't want to give her the same old white lady, you know? Like, so I decided something a little more, like, smooth and southern and yet just chill, right? And so I'll come up with voices like that. But a lot of times I just stick with normal because unless you want me to sit here like this. There's just, I do a wide range of voices, okay? So I can sit here and I can, adjust, my voice as you've seen. Here's my note talking kind of normal, and then, yeah, you can do, and I do the female voices, and there's, only so many versions of that you can do. And I've never been professionally voice coached, too. That's another thing. But even professional voice actors typically only have about a half dozen to a dozen voices any number can do, right? That are normal voices that can play a role in a storytelling aspect without sounding ridiculous, right? And like I said, you want me to do something like, it just doesn't work. So, but at the same time, I like to, a lot of people said they enjoy the commentary. I try not to put too much in, but then at the same time, we're also reading something that has been read once before. There is it tilts the shit out of me. I'm sorry. There's literally no difference so far between this book and the next. Okay? So his and her has literally no difference between the love interests, okay? And don't get I'm livid, okay? About the fact that we had Tess, right? And I don't understand why Joe and Tess can't look the same. It's just, again, it's poor writing, it's poor programming, and I swear to God, the developers slash writers of this app are Italian because the code is spaghetti. I love making that reference. So pretty much it's garbage. Any code, writer, developer, whatever, knows spaghetti code is garbage. And it's just redundant. We're paying VIP for this book when it's similar in every single bloody way than the other one. Like, I can't blame people for tuning into both. I can't blame you. So, anyway, I'm going to stop ranting now. Thanks for watching. Catch you all later. Peace out.